Old school RuneScape and World of Warcraft, two games that were huge parts of my childhood. I enjoyed exploring their worlds for countless hours, but I never really got far or did anything worthwhile in them because I was just too young and dumb. Now, after playing on and off for years, I am getting back into both of them for real this time in 2026. So far in RuneScape, I've mainly done a lot of questing, some Nightmare Zone to level my combat, and skilling to do even more quests. I also achieved a really big account milestone, so watch the entire video for that. In WoW, my goal was to just do questing to level 60 before TBC, of course, but we'll talk more about that later in the video. I will say I do absolutely love the social factor in WoW. It is just so easy to meet and find new people to talk to and do dungeons or quests with. I'll also definitely say that socially, Classic WoW was a much better experience for me than RuneScape. I barely talk to anyone in RuneScape, although I'll admit that's probably because I didn't go out of my way to. I have recently joined a clan in RuneScape as well, so it did get a bit better in that regard, but overall, WoW definitely takes a cake when it comes to talking to or meeting people. Both of these worlds are just amazing to explore and walk around in. They both have their own uniquely distinct visual and art styles that no other games really have. I will say that OSRS is a bit more unique, but both have their own charm that makes you fall in love with them. Just by a first glance, you know only by looking at the visuals and even without the HUD what these games are. Some of the zones in Classic WoW give you that unexplainable feeling. There really is nothing quite like Classic WoW when it comes to the atmosphere of some of these zones. And the same goes for RuneScape, where some areas are so extremely old and iconic. Both games also do a really good job of making you feel small compared to the rest of the world, and that it has a great long history and that there's so much to do in finding these worlds. Visually, both of these games are outstanding, even if they're not super hyper realistic. Now, in WoW, I died a lot. I died so many times. I have looked at this black and white screen way too long, honestly, but I still thoroughly enjoyed leveling, and to be honest, I always have. I am playing on Night Slayer, the PvP realm, so it wasn't all that fun getting ganked, especially at lower levels, but I still enjoyed it. Seeing the enemy alliance on my journey did make things a lot more enjoyable, and getting into world PvP fights was a lot of fun. I had a character from when Anniversary first launched that was about level 30, but I only had about 3 weeks to hit 60. Unfortunately, I don't have all the time in the world to level that quickly in such a short amount of time, so I did end up boosting. I probably will make a character where I can just take my time and level 1 to 60 on classic era realms, but for the time being, I just wanted to at least quest far enough until I got the Whirlwind Axe. An amazing upgrade for warriors, and then I boosted. I also didn't find it a waste of time because I could experience some classic leveling that, to be honest, I never really got to experience extensively. I'd get to experience getting a major upgrade for my specific class and have 60 before TBC launches. I started playing in Wrath of the Lich King when I was still a kid, so I never really got to experience TBC. I leveled through TBC multiple times in retail in the past, but it's just not the same, obviously.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
I just need one more tusk. I hate this place. I actually hate this place. Now, as much as I did enjoy leveling in WoW, it was extremely brutal. And there were a couple of moments where I was about to just straight up quit, get the boost, and forget about the Whirlwind Axe. There were some moments that I didn't even think I'd get the Whirlwind Axe before TBC, as crazy as that sounds, because leveling as a warrior is tough as it is, and getting ganked by Alliance on top of that, it was pretty rough. But I stuck through it, and I'm glad I did. Getting the Whirlwind Axe was a great feeling, and luckily, someone conveniently stopped by and helped me kill Cyclone just as I was about to die. I knew about using the throwing axes to glitch out Cyclone, but I just was not able to do it, so I then just tried fighting him face to face. I almost died, but in the end was able to barely just defeat him. I unfortunately don't have footage of me defeating him, but nevertheless, the Whirlwind Axe was finally achieved. After I got the Whirlwind Axe, I continued to level a bit more with it and then boosted. I started doing BGs and got my Warlord Greatsword, and I will say, getting the Warlord Greatsword and using it in PvP has probably been some of the most fun I ever had playing WoW, or any game ever really. Watching players' health bars get absolutely obliterated in a few seconds is so satisfying. My journey so far on WoW has been really great. I met so many people across Azeroth, explored zones that I never really got to explore deeply, and I can't wait to level other characters on classic era realms. Now I'm ready and excited for TBC. I would also love to do some raiding in a new player welcoming environment, because even though I have been playing WoW on and off for some years now, I'm still technically a noob. So if any of you guys have a raiding guild that is open to having someone like me, I'd be happy to join. I might even make my own guild somewhere down the line, and I would love to start streaming WoW and even RuneScape as well. Speaking of RuneScape, it was finally time to get my fire cape. The second best cape in the entire game and a well needed upgrade for my account. I watched some guides and decided to just get to work. The first few waves were really easy, of course, but it starts to get tough when you have to deal with mages and rangers, two different attack types that need different prayers. There's ways of using the wave spawn locations to your advantage to avoid getting hit by both at the same time. It was tough at first, but I got the hang of it pretty quickly. Yeah, the ranger can't touch me here. This is the run. I can feel it. My first ever run, I got to Jad with like 67 ranged, red D-hide, and a Sunlight Hunter's crossbow, and I died. The next day, I tried again, and I'll just let you watch the rest of what happened. Now it was time to actually fight Jad, and I was extremely nervous. Everything was going pretty well. I was praying correctly and still had a good amount of supplies left. The healers spawned, so I led them away from Jad and got rid of them with no issues. There was one healer, however, that I couldn't lure away, so I just dealt with that one later. Does that matter? There's one healer over there. God damn. Here is when it started to get a little bit more difficult. I had to try to kill this last healer while still praying correctly. Now all the healers were dealt with, and it was just me and Jad. And I started to panic a little towards the end here. At this point, just like my first run, I started panicking more and more and running out of supplies slowly. And I started to pray incorrectly for some hits, and I think I got insanely lucky here. With like 18 HP left, I tanked a hit. And I just wonder how rare this is to happen. If somebody can tell me in the comments how rare this is, I would like to find that out. Yes! Yes! Oh my god, I was messing up so much. Oh my god. Oh my god, I thought I was gonna die. Oh hell yeah. That looks nice. It felt really good to get my fire cape, and only on my second try, it feels really rewarding, and I wanted to show it off a bit, so I did some herb runs with it, of course.
Bruh.
Well, that's pretty much the conclusion of my journey returning to both of these amazing games. World of Warcraft is awesome with its beautiful atmospheres and dangerous enemies. It is enjoyable even though you can sometimes feel rushed, and the items you get in WoW won't really last forever. Whereas in OSRS, if you get an important item, you're probably going to use it for the next 10 years. Literally, you can quit OSRS for a decade, come back, and then just start from where you left off again. In WoW, that isn't really the case. This isn't so much as to bash the game, just a personal preference when it comes to my own personal time and schedule. I will say though, the world of WoW is just so fun to explore and it's so incredibly easy to meet and talk with other players out in the world compared to OSRS, at least for me. Ultimately though, when it comes to comparing WoW and RuneScape, I don't think there's any point in trying to figure out which one is better. I'm just going to play and enjoy both for what they are. My next steps are to just PVM and grind Slayer in OSRS and level to 70 and raid and PvP in WoW. If you want to stick with me for these future adventures, stay tuned and thank you so much for watching. I will be getting a new mic soon, so the video quality will get better with time. Thank you for bearing with me and see you guys next time.